Hey, friends and fans, welcome to Tabletop News. I'm your host, the author David Applegate, author of the book of The Boyhood of Cade, Power Games, and Into the Elves Mound. Links all in the description below. On X, you got to hit my profile, hit more information. I've got my link tree in my description. But I'm sponsored by you, the viewing audience. So please make a donation, buy my books, become a patron, or buy my merch. But either way, please help the channel grow, like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to go the extra miles, please check out my links. I'm not going to make money off advertising revenue. Have you seen the requirements these days? You've got to get millions of followers to even make a buck. No, well, $100 or something like that. It's ridiculous. People can't make a living off the ad revenue anymore. Now I'm just going to go over to X, where slowly and surely viewers are trickling in. I'll just to make sure more people trickle in. I will share the link. I also ask if you're watching to share the link. TB Rising, yay, team. So, if you're over on Rumble, yay, team, give us a like. See a couple of people over there. So, on with this show. Share screen. First up, we have my usual favorite, the Bundle of Holding. Now, new package this week, Metamorphosis Alpha from Goodman Games. Science tabletop role-playing game, everything you need on a lost generation starship. The starter pack, only $9.95. And if you level up, you get the bonus edition. This comes from August 21, previous pack from the 1976 first edition of Metamorphosis Alpha, one of the early tabletop games. Mutants and monstrosities are born a colossal generational starship lost in space as different tribes struggle generations later. You have humans, mutants, robots. You fight to survive, even as your irradiated world is a spaceship. Uncover the secrets of the warden and maybe even steer it back on course, or just live to survive another day. $19.95 gets you the starter editions, DR at $42 value $42, all DRM free, including the 2016 Goodman Games reproduction of the original 1976 printed rulebook. Now, level up, the threshold price of $25.72, and you also get the bonus collection. $70 value, full length campaign, along with other rule books and handouts. Now, in the starters collection, you pay the minimum and get first edition original rulebook recreated in the deluxe collected edition, which includes the Game Master's screen. 37 pages. These were back in the days when there were just a handful of rules for everything, and the rest you just made up or came out in later packs. You really didn't need a lot back then. Heck, most of them were just single die. I'm not sure about this one. But basic premise is 300 years into the future, the colonization ship Warden has been slowly moving from space. It's gone through a mysterious radiation cloud. The ship's destroyed. Most of the colonists are dead, and a few survivors have mutated. Now, as the ship drifts, lost and in trouble, you have true humans, mutants, and robots fighting to survive, unaware At your irradiated world, which one's humanity's greatest achievement? Can you uncover the secrets, steer it back on course, or just simply try to live another day? This was part of a 1976 publication from Goodman Games, Deluxe Collector's Edition. Text is clear, no optical characterization has been applied. This is the actual this version includes the errata as marginal notes and a 3-page appendix. You also get the Game Master screen. It's an actual printing. Now you get 3 source books: Creatures and Gadgets, Mutation Manual, and the Armory. Creatures and Gadgets gives you 12 new creatures for Metamorphosis Alpha, as well as new gadgets from handheld devices to vehicles. Enjoy this material and run like crazy. Now the Mutation Manual, 200 mutations, all fun to play. Oh man, that gives you lots of replayability right there. Now the Warden Armory. Well, your armory, well, the Warden's cargo hold is full of equipment for planetary colonization, but unknown. There's a second cache, military. Sourcebook describes 150 pieces of combat equipment, weapons, armor, shields, bots, droids, drones, vehicles, exoskeletons, and other miscellaneous items. Metamorphosis Alpha, the Death Cigarette and Warden Adventures. This is a introductory campaign and one of the many one-shots from on board the ship. Yeah, this one reproduced 2014. And the bonus collection, Doom on the Warden, Answer to the Biggest Mystery. Another 40 years after the release, the Warden story comes to a close. Part hex call, part Delvey Dome. This 51-page adventure sends your heroes to level 0, the Command Dome. There, if you survive, uncover the deepest secrets, repair the ship, and set it back on course. This is either part of your ongoing campaign or basically take teams of pre-generated characters on a deadly adventure as it was originally run. Epsilon City. Take me down to Epsilon City when the robot's strong and the world folds pretty. Epsilon City, Arnold's Earthquakes is wiped out when the radiation cloud turned 1 million colonists into ash. Now, 3 centuries later, the AI is insane. Its robots are hostile. The Wolffold packs consider this Metropolis their lair. Mutant creatures serve in the city's archaeologies that simulated ancient Egypt, Rome, Vikings, Aztecs, and other eras. The massive campaign where you have the cyborg, new equipment, mutations, key locations, random encounters, and 3 complete adventures. This was a 2015 Kickstarter campaign. Successful, by the way. Metamorphosis Alpha 4 adventures. Androids. Yes, the android underlords. Mysterious agents kidnap the knower of all things at a dead of night, leaving a hideous trail in their wake. Now they harvest the strongest members of the tribe. Now the bravest and strongest members of the tribe must rescue the village shaman before he falls victim to his captors' nefarious plans. For their journey, though, the mutants reach an undreamt of place and battle faceless foes. The captain's table. A hollow egg projects a larger life version of Captain Jameson, one of the 5 original captains of the ship. Raid team, assemble of humans and mutants, go on a holy quest to the cargo decks. Discover ancient marvels and a killing field. 34 miles wide. That's a killing field, all right. Level of the Lost. One of the legendary command rings. Player explores. Formerly sealed section of the Warden. A preserve for mutated dinosaurs. Book of handouts. 16 illustrations to show your players up to Game Master what these handouts mean. Love it. It's first edition gold. Level up threshold price. Hey, some And yes, I actually own this bundle. Well, actually, yeah, I actually bought this way back. Operation Unfathomable. Now, this is a new one, yeah. Okay, it's a single once-off collection, $14.95. You get the core book and various add-ons. Now, of course, this is a role-playing campaign for old school revival. This is for retro role players. Versions of the Dungeon Crawl Classic. The Sorcerer's King, stunned, solar powerful Alec Nulrod, fled to the unfathomable underworld, terrain of unsurpassed strangers and perils, fledgling first-level ventures, assuming a vast and incomprehensibly bizarre cavern world. It's like Journey to the Center of the Earth. Now, for just $14.95, you get all 6 titles in the collection, DRM-free, including the complete 108-page operational Unfathomable core campaign book, plus player's guide, the sequel, its map pack, and conversion kit, and others. Operation Fathomable. This includes the player's guide. It's basically the entire underworld. What you need to survive, characters, creatures. Beyond the initial hook, there's no plot except that which emerges from your play. Simply by entering the underworld, the players can run afoul of many creatures and be hounded to the ends of the earth. Well, to the ends of the inner earth. Now, there's a lot of things. There's like treasures and adventures, powerful magic items. Some may be inappropriate for low-level players, but this is the underworld, basically. Yeah. Without a bit of an edge, you're not going to survive. But, hey, if you can get untold power, so can your freaking enemies. And of course, should the players manage to escape, now this campaign has an alleged runtime of 2 years in real time. So you have a lot here, a lot of material just in this section alone. And this expands on it. So it's loaded with landmarks, accommodations, humble to the priestly, eateries, the finest of wilderness chefs, mammoth jerky, supernatural entities to provide blessings, prophecies, and even custom tattoos for the righteous. Access to the underworld from points unknown yet to be discovered, unique monsters, treasures, personalities, mini dungeons, and other challenges. This is a complete map pack. They're completely unfathomable. This is another Dungeon Crawl Classic from the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG, all material part of Operation Unfathomable as well. So basically, 5 new classes: the Citizen Lich, Underworld Ranger, Willie Nathaniel, and the Underworld Otter. This all old school RPG, and 200 plus tables of stuff. Independent random tables to fuel the game. Monster generators, encounter tables, treasures, hirelings, every solution. Here's just a few examples. Visions in a crystal ball. The almost indestructible villain. There's requirements for their deaths, as well as inns, relics, bottom of the pits, items found on the desk, weird dragons, and interplanetary travel. Swords. Found dead in a ditch. Fluids. Yes. Oh, found strapped to Brian's Wars. There's actually some things here I could briefly remember. Like Dwarf, Is There an Underworld? Ancient Empires, The Witch Doctor's Utility Belt, Xenophobia. There's one, I don't know if it's in this collection. I do remember once there was a tavern, where a dwarven tavern, where all your treasures are basically like sandals and things found, sandals, buckles, buttons, things found in dwarves' pockets, stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's this one, but yeah. This is another massive collection of tables. Now, it's not just straight up optical character recognition. They have, so it's pretty good, pretty decent pack. $14.95 for basically old school role playing. If you want to expand your role playing horizons, start with old school role playing. But of course, if you're into cyberpunk, you should check out Shadowrun. Now, this is actually, again, they put it in reverse order. These are the new scenarios and source books for 5th edition campaign, Seattle Sprawl, the CDFs, Denver Trilogy, and more. The Starter Collection, $19.95, gives you the Seattle Sprawl in digital format. There's 3 standalone scenarios and 4 convention scenarios. And a bonus, level up, and the bonus get more CFDs, a complete campaign, and the Denver Trilogy. This is from Catalyst Game Labs, the current and Shadowrun iteration. Now you get, for $19.95, you get all 8 in the base set, the digital box set of the Seattle Sprawl. Everything you need to know about Seattle in the dystopic future, where you have gangs, corporations, runners, government, and secret societies all competing for power and using often the same runners to combat each other. You have the geography, the power behind the throne of the city, adventures, characters, gang references. You have the standalone facility, Splinter State, where a federal agent is hiding from people desperate to know what he knows, and a group of Shadowrunners wanting to learn valuable information, and the powers with Seattle want it for themselves. This is an introductory adventure. And Lethal Forces, you have Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson is basically the quest giver, and they basically they're liars, thieves, you name it. They're out to cheat you, send you to your death when you become a liability. But in the meantime, they'll send you on missions, like highly secure facilities where Mr. Johnson won't tell you everything, but just enough to get you in the front door. But what self-respecting runner relies on Mr. Johnson to tell him anything, honestly or truthfully. But I mean, this is stuff you should play through and actually understand from the naive point of a naive runner, and learn the acts of betrayal that become quite common in Shadowrun. But the current iteration of Shadowrun is all focused around cognitive fragmented disorder. It's a metaplot storyline run throughout all of 5th edition since it since Boston came out, the video game, I believe it was introduced in. I forget the name of it, but basically Boston Labs in Boston, of course, bunch of eggheads get together and they want to do some nefarious experiments, and things go astray. Their little nanobots get loose, and you basically a runner in the street of Boston, you find out everything and bring it all down. But the fallout of CFDs continue to echo since then. Toxic alleyways. Now another meta. Okay, there's a couple of metas in Shadowrun. Toxic is another meta where there are powerful and secret organizations, and they hide behind powerful and secretive law firms. Now, the law firms often hire runners to do nefarious things. Now, Shadowrunners may not be the only ones out there. Most of you will always run into opposing teams at some point. That's the point. But Shadowrunners, a lot of them are standalone adventures. It's not a complete A to Z campaign. It's fragmented. It's as it comes out. There's lots of books and lots of parallel things. But every scenario, I believe, is up to the individual. You treat it as an individual scenario, rather than a campaign. You can build it into your campaign. But the meta narrative in Toxic, I won't spoil it, but those who know, those who don't, best find out. Because a lot of these, already spoilt when you go through the handbook, picking your skills and powers. You learn, there's this thing called Toxic. Yeah, there's this thing called Toxic. Most good game masters know to either tell a player not to start as a Toxic if you're new to the game. And if you're not new to the game, you know not to tell anybody you are a Toxic. You know the statement, geek the mage? Well, if you're a Toxic, everybody wants to geek the Toxic. Even though... Yeah, and then you've got other spirits as well. You got lots of spirits. Now, one of the things about Shadowrun is you have lots of scenarios from various game designers, and some of them, quite healthy in size. There's 312 pages here. So Elizabeth Nunn, she hangs out in hospitals, abandoned churches. She's angry. And why is she hanging out in such places? Well, she needs Shadowrunners. Of course, the mission involves gangs, critters, secret societies. And should you survive and find out what Nunn is mad about, and how far, you'll find out how far she's willing to go for revenge. And if you know anything about Shadowrun, your business is pretty much gun for hire. Revenge is a dish well paid for. But Shadowrunning can take you to many places, different guns pointed at you. And however, firing line takes you to one of the most mysterious parts of Seattle, often closed off to most people, and that is the islands off the coast. Now, everything there is sort of nothing compared to the streets of Manhattan or Bogota or London or Tokyo. But there are many sprawls around the world. I'm not sure about all of them. I've only played about a dozen Shadowruns. Official scenarios, that is. I've played lots of unofficial Shadowrun games. But the bonus collection, CFDs. This is the campaign source book that introduces the cognitive disorder. It starts with Stolen Souls, where people's minds are schism. New personalities have battled the old. The world's in chaos. and you got to find answers. It's a source book that goes deep into the shadows and information about Manhattan and key instructions. Well, in the video game, I think it was actually Boston. Yeah, Boston Neonet. Yeah. Yeah, you started to, yeah. I haven't played all of these. I think I've only done Boston. Dark Terrors, horrors lurking in the sixth world, bug spirits. Yeah, that's another meta. You got the bugs, the toxics, mage secret societies, racist groups like Humanus, and although they're pretty weak in 5th edition, not but they're an I told you so basically mode about metas. They hate all metas, but metas are the only ones who can save society. The metas that humanists hate, which includes mages. Although they've started to recruit them, I believe, in some missions. You come across them, I believe. Bug spirits, toxics, the corpse. They, of course, dragons. Dragons are the other power group, which aren't mentioned so far, but you'll come across them. Even if you don't notice, you'll come across mages and across free spirits, dragons, and other entities who appear to be wholly human, posing as Mr. Johnson. Learn too much about the Johnsons, and you tend to disappear. I think in the Berlin campaign, you find out eventually that you're working for a dragon. Sorry, but it's an old one. It's everybody knows. It's actually I'm not spoiling it because it's actually got the dragon on the cover. They spoil it for themselves. They spoiled it by putting the dragon on the cover, with the right over the runner. Dark Terrors, Catalog of Horrors of the Sixth World, Bug Spirits, yeah. Bloody Business. Well, the Megacorps are in the business of bloodshed. Now, Net Neo and Evo are dealing with the fallout of CFD virus. Ares, that's one of the largest gun manufacturers in the Shadowrun verse. They'll have a powerful force eating it from inside. That's the bugs. Horizon are backing the losing side of the Aslan Amazonia War, and the Jap Corps are ready to take on the world and each other. Now, when the corps get aggressive, that's when Shadowruns get called and blood is shed. Now, most of the 10 megacorps of the Sixth World have changed since 4th edition, but they're still basically the same inside, where they are full of scandals, disasters, crippling attacks on each other, and they're piling on the schemes, turmoil, upheaval, teetering on the edge of chaos constantly. That's how they operate. Those who know. Those who don't need to know. But Shadowrun, on the surface, that's pretty much sums up. And the retail price $120 for those campaign source books. Like, nearly 1,000 pages. Pack's worth that on its own. The Denver Trilogy, another pack worth the whole price on its own, 184 pages. This is the storyline, the Year of the Comet, where the great dragon Ghostwalker has taken over Denver. Now, in 2074, as shown in Stormfront, the city erupted in a civil war, and the dragon fought with Harlequin. Now, it's 2078. Denver's at war with reality itself. People are disappearing from the streets. Strange creatures are materializing out of nowhere, sometimes bringing back with them entire landscapes. Something's gone wrong. Now, this is a trilogy of full-length adventures. The runners to find out what's happening in Serrated Edge, deal with it, and the fallout. Now, Serrated Edge, Starts with the Aurora Warrens of Denver. You have been approached by the Sons of Sauron to steal some medical records. If revealed to the public, they uncover a bomb plot that sets the city's front range free fire zone on edge. That's exactly what it sounds like. It is a free fire zone, basically. It's the purge 24/7. Dark secret double crosses, plenty of money flying around. UN is the currency of the day. Yes, it's post-dollar. Serrated Edge shakes up the city full of spies. Now, false flag. An unknown parties run a false flag operation in the free fire zone. Discovery of the culprit might start a war. Might, you mean, exasperate the ongoing war, but because the free fire zone technically is a war between all parties with no intent to go beyond the free fire zone. Once you start to uncover Denver, you'll understand what's going on. And pretty much good game masters will realize that this is the meta narrative for every zone. Ripping reality, sorry. Now, there's a wild ride for the sprawl where reality has been tearing itself apart and gives a chance to stitch it all back together. Very good material right here. Now, the essentials, of course, are needed to play the missions. This is from 2019, the first of two Shadowrun 5th editions. Now, I don't know. Let's just briefly hold for a moment. Shadowrun 6th edition. It's called the Shadowrun 6 World. Yeah. Previewed May 1st, 2019. Shadowrun Edge 6th edition. None of those source books are in these packs, but if you go through it, if you go through the source books, you'll have Cutting Black and other source books that aren't in Germany, that aren't in these packs, Harlequin and others, because they're all part of third and fourth edition is only briefly covered in 5th edition. I don't know if they're going to bring back a 3rd and 4th edition pack, but you can get 3rd and 4th edition packs out there. But I don't think Humble Bundle has. I think Bundle Holding doesn't have them. I think they were on Humble Bundle. I haven't seen them in a while, but I haven't seen any 6th edition, and that's worrying at the least, I think. And let me just fix this. Apologize. Right, this is 5th edition. It is from 2019, which ironically is also when they started previewing 6th edition. But I think they're still releasing 5th edition material, which I don't understand. But it's Catalyst Games. If they know what they're doing, they know what they're doing. If they don't, well, that's on them. I'm just here to tell you what they have on offer currently, and that is $19.95 to get all 3 titles in the core pack. Retail value of $70. These are all DRM-free digital editions. And if you pay the threshold, $30.84, you level up and get the entire bonus collection of more Shadowrun supplements worth $100. Now, this is a valuable pack, and if you're into role-playing and you want to expand your horizons past Dungeons & Dragons, I recommend you do, all right? You'll actually find out how you want to exercise your brain and become a better player. Challenge yourself with something a little bit more challenging than rolling a d20. Start getting strategic. I don't mean going full Monty into Warhammer, just basically expand your horizon a wee bit. Now, the core collection, pay the minimum price, get the titles. 5th edition has everything has a price. This is the core book, 498 pages, goes into the Shadowrun world. How you survive and can even flourish in an age of basically gangster city. Right, this is everything is on the edge. It's a future of man, machine, magic in a dystopian future where you have mages, hackers, riggers. Those are drone operators basically, but they're literally plugged into the machine, and so are hackers. And you have various types of mages, and of course you can have your standard cybernetic monstrosity. Now, run faster. It's a player's guide. Everything players need advantage. Run faster gives you that advantage. Stuff like lightning reflexes, Hawkeye, and others. Now, anybody knows anything about Shadowrun, almost everybody who's a samurai takes lightning reflexes. Otherwise, you're a dead man. Because you run into average cybernetically enhanced goon from corporate security, and they'll basically they react at machine speed, faster than human reflexes. And your average sword wielding punk won't last the first round of combat. Now, Chrome Flesh, that's the thing. Gene Tech, it's got it still has the original cyberpunk elements of Chrome. That is or cyberware. But this goes beyond that to BioWare, Gene Tech, and Nanotech. Everything runners need to basically level up without leveling up. Now, level up, and you do get Gun and Run, the combat expansion. Worth getting the expanded pack just for this. It expands on the core rule. Well, it was a core rule. It was an expansion, but it's become part of the core rules of Shadowrun going forward. For you get unit techniques, martial arts, and specialized techniques. It's that popular. It is. Now, the Street Grimoire is another popular add-on as it expands magic. There are two things that make Shadowrun: cybernetically enhanced rigger, cybernetically enhanced gunners, and the mages that keep them alive. And this goes into deeper rules, deadlier threats, and dozens of ways to have fun with magic. Data trails. Personally, I don't like Matrix campaigns, but some people like the gear, the qualities, etc. But hacking takes place in its own realm and its own culture. Same with riggers. I've never been in a game where anybody gets to play a hacker or a rigger. Oh, sorry, there's been once somebody got to play a rigger, and they pretty much play the atypical rigger who sits in the van and naps. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of them are. They're basically drivers, gunners, droners, security suppressors, that sort of thing. Hackers and riggers are the essential, but I prefer hackers and riggers to NPCs. These are great for game masters who basically want to throw in some extra challenges against the players and have some pretty well-rounded NPCs to provide assistance. Now, of course, Runehammer Games has the Crown and Skull. Now, this is a once-off pack. All-inclusive pack with the Crown and Skull core book, which includes maps, virtual tabletop assets, and music tracks. Runehammer Crown and Skull bundle presents a fantasy tabletop role-playing rule with using index cards from RPG designer Brandish Runehammer Gilham at Runehammer Games. It's a new setting, new game, and 40 original monsters, loot tables, and enriched games. Yes, I also own this pack. Now, I like to bring not just the mainstream, and as you notice, I like to go off the beaten track. First up, we have Zack, Not a Mimic, a horror TPG author. Here's his Twitter. He's a storyteller, lover of horror, peacemaker, not home of Just Another Mimic Monday. Wish it was Sunday. It's not. That's my fun day. That's when I get to play day. And Zack has a website. Links are in the description below. Now, he starts off with his books. Gives you a little preview. Has the links. And he has a sorted anthology, a blog, some RPG material, and a Substack. All right. Next up, we have Adam. Here's his Twitter profile. He blogs about writing homebrew games and writes game rules. Look at he strives to write world building, a blog, government starting out. And as you may remember, I did a series on world building. It's one of my favorites. His blog is a Ko-Fi, so it's presented in a different way. And yeah, we all need support. Check him out today. Now, making a return is the Quill of Damocles. He still has commission slots open. He's a map maker, battle maps, has a Patreon and a Roll20 marketplace. And basically, there's an example of his work. Gives you the project files and maps. Now, if you want to fund some commissions for my Patreon, however, as I am looking if I get enough people to commission maps, but hey, I've not finished my own selection of maps yet. I'm sorry, I'm behind on that. I know. Quill of Damocles, Patreon, Roll20, and Drive-Through RPG. Of course, like I said, I have two patrons. First, of course, is my writing. I really need your support and really need your help. I know some people out there are cheesed off, but I can't get this stuff on. I had I had a subscribe star, and now I sort of don't have a subscribe star, and they won't say why or what, or just that I'm under review. Of course, I have some of you support me over, and thank you, over at Future Fantasy. Please, I hope, I know this is reasonable to most, but please, this can't last much longer. I may have to put up the prices because the credit card companies are taking all but basically. I've earned virtually nothing from $1 donations. The minimum I may have to charge is $3. I don't know yet. I don't know what's coming. All I know is that there's rumors that Patreon is under pressure from the credit card companies to up the fees. But for now, you can join free and get previews of some material. I mean, some previews, 7-day preview. And yeah, coming up is maps. There's a upcoming adventures. And of course, I have art and other material coming. Please and thank you. Support the channel. I can really use your help. I want to make a living, and to make a living, I need a lot of $5 supporters just to make a living. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money credit card companies take. I mean, don't forget the government takes 3% of your the reason why it's so big is because all transactions in US dollars are taxed by the US government. That's why it's costing so much. It's not Patreon. It's Subscribe Star too. And I don't know why Subscribe Star. I mean, people say, "Hey, you got Subscribe Star? Got Subscribe?" I had Subscribe Star for years, and nobody touched it. People kept asking for it, but they didn't use it. That's why I think I've been suspended, because nobody has used it. I'm sorry. I just get a little bothered by people messaging me and saying, "Hey, what's your Subscribe Star?" I appreciate and I value your support. Thank you, all those who have shown support. If you can, please at least like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Some of you have followed the channel. Some of you have shared the video. I appreciate it. Whether you're on Rumble, YouTube, or X, please share the link. If you'd like to go the extra mile and help me make a living, Ko-Fi, Patreon, merch store, and my book sales. Also, so please and thank you. I'll see you all in the next video.